What's up, party people? Welcome to 9394, a music podcast with Travis Roy. I call you party people because I assume you're ready to party. You're here to listen to me and my friend Mike Brennan talk about the album The Sign from Ace of Base, which, they're a fucking party band, right? I think? I don't know. Maybe Mike knows. Let's check in and find out what we have to say about it in the conversation he and I had about Ace of Base.
What's good, man?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Happy Sunday morning.
Yeah, happy Sunday.
Are you in a public library, or is this just your fucking house?
I wish this was a public library. This is the downstairs part of my library. I have a library upstairs too.
Okay, so is this where you recorded last time, just from a different angle?
I was in front of one of the bookcases, I think.
Okay, yeah, I saw that last time. It looks bigger, weirdly enough, from further away, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can get the full scope of it.
No, it's bad. It's bad.
You got an addiction, my friend.
It's worse than that. So, like, my theology library is upstairs, and then this is what happens when you teach English. You're a history teacher, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had a little bit of a problem as a history teacher, and then I became an English teacher, and it got worse.
There's worse problems you could have, I guess.
It's true. It's my vice. It's, people are addicted to other things, and this is what I spend money on, I guess.
Do you move much?
It's way too much to have this many books, yeah.
My trick I always found is that if you take like a big box and like rather than have like boxes full of books, you gotta like put layers at the bottom of the box and then put clothes and light things on top of it. You know what I mean? That's my trick.
Yeah. I broke the driveway, so the forklift picked this is back when I only had like 3 bookcases. I didn't even have that many books back then. But they picked up it wasn't a pod, it was like a cube or something. I can't remember what else the
something like that
competing company had, but
yeah,
picked it up with the forklift, and it was so heavy that it bent the arm of the lift and dropped it on the concrete, and there's like a hole. Oh gosh, I'm
holy
like,
shit!
It's so embarrassing. But then I'm like, well, yeah, no, it's a problem.
So should we get into it?
Let's get into it.
All right. You have picked a wild fucking album, but an album that was unavoidable for this podcast. Tell the good people, what are we talking about today?
We are talking about Ace of Base. We're going to talk about The Sign today.
Ace of Base, The Sign from 1994.
Yeah.
Which I guess technically came out in 1992 as Happy Nation with like 3/4 of the songs on it or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was all but 2 of them. And the other 2, you can tell why. Those songs are terrible.
The ones off Happy Nation that didn't make it?
Right.
Okay. And then they had like a few new songs for this version. But how did you get into this album?
Good question. So there's 2 reasons, I think. And I had a crush on a girl that I found out liked at least a couple of songs from Ace of Base. And then, so I started listening to it for that.
Yeah, this is a good reason, honestly.
Well, it's like the main reason. Yeah.
I get it.
And then the only place we were ever playing dance music, the only place I would ever listen to dance music was Roll-A-Rama.
Sure.
Being a 90s kid, I think these places must have been popular all over the United States, but...
Tell the people what kind of place you're talking about. What was Roll-A-Rama?
Yeah, if they weren't, there's like a couple of arcade games, a roller rink, and I was rollerblading at the time because I liked roller hockey. So Friday night or Saturday night, I think it was Friday night, people would just end up at Roll-A-Rama. Not by that age, though. Like, Roll-A-Rama is kind of a younger joint. It's like more for middle school.
Yeah, and I feel like roller skating was a big deal throughout the 80s and early 90s generally, but yeah, probably like up until like 11 or 12-ish, right?
Yeah. And so my brother was in middle school, and so I was taking him and his friends, and rather than dropping them off, I would just put on my rollerblades and skate around for a bit.
Oh, okay, so this was after 94? This was like when you were driving?
This must have been when I was, so I'm thinking about like 8th grade to probably sophomore year, and I was driving in my sophomore year.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah.
So that would have been like 95, 96.
Right.
Okay, and this came out in 94, and holy shit, yeah, it stuck around, too, for a good couple of years.
It did have some weird longevity to it. Yeah, it's strange.
It had longevity at the time, because I never hear people talk about this album or this band or hear these songs out in the world. Like, I never hear this shit, but back then you heard it constantly.
There's a brewery that plays 90s music down here, and once in a while, The Sign or All That She Wants will still make it into the playlist. It's weird when it happens, because talk about nostalgia. Like, that will take you right back, because there's no other sound like that. Like, it's really like, as soon as you start hearing The Sign, you're like, I don't know what the hell I was doing back then. That was weird.
I have a word, I took notes, and I have a word that I came up with that just kept on coming into my head every time I thought about the fact that this band is a fusion of reggae and techno, and the word is improbable. It is an improbable mix of music. Like, no other band could possibly do this now, because any other band that mixed reggae with techno, people would be like, you're ripping off Ace of Base. You sound like Ace of Base.
Right. Yeah. I heard a song. It's not that close, but it's Skin Tight. I think her name is Nikki Haley. I can't remember her. No, it's not Nikki Haley. It's Nikki. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Did Nikki Haley run for president?
Yeah, maybe that's who that is. Obviously, I don't know who this person is. I know the song is Skin Tight.
Okay.
And it's not like Ace of Base, but it's just different enough that you're like, oh, they should do some interesting things. But when they get interesting, it usually dies away real fast. Like bringing up synth pop, like resurrecting it from the 80s, like nothing should have been resurrected from the 80s like that. But it worked on some level. I guess this is what people must like. 20-year-olds were probably dancing to this at clubs, I guess. I mean,
techno and that kind of stuff, dance music was really popular at that time. And I'm glad that you kind of brought up the fact that this is sort of a throwback for its time to kind of 80s kind of dance music. I mean, I know they always get compared to ABBA, but to me, I hear Erasure a lot. I hear a lot of Erasure in what they're doing, just again with the Caribbean flair.
Right. European music. Like this was my kind of first time realizing that there were bands elsewhere. I don't know why, but like, what do people listen to when they're overseas?
Right.
And Ace of Base kind of prepared me for like some of the European styles of music. Like right now I'm listening to a lot of Italian music because we're about to take a trip to Italy. So in some ways to like kind of prepare for that trip and immerse in language, I'm trying to learn Italian. And one of the ways I'm doing it is through music, but that music is mostly rap mixed with like dance music. It's very strange stuff. Like it's not stuff you hear a lot. It just has like European style of music is a very different thing in terms of like what they care about.
Yeah, and not all of it takes off in the US then or now. I mean, some of it definitely does. You know, at that time there was a lot of stuff. Bjork, for instance, was really big at that time here. There was definitely stuff that was popping. But yeah, as far as Swedish bands go, not a lot of Swedish bands that I could name off the top of my head, especially ones that sound, as you say, like European, as opposed to like, I'm thinking like The Tallest Man on Earth. I'm pretty sure he's Swedish, but like you'd never know it. He sounds like he comes from West Virginia or something.
Yeah, right.
So it's not just distinct because of that genre mixing. Maybe it's a little bit distinct because it's not American. And we heard the fuck out of it, though. It was like the biggest stuff in America for a while. I even talked to my mom today, and I'm like, hey, do you remember, you know, and she's like 70. I'm like, do you remember Ace of Base? She's like, oh, yeah, I remember Ace of Base.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. How did you come across Ace of Base?
By living in America in the year 1994, I guess. I mean, like, it was just everywhere. They were the kind of band that, like, any radio station or like VH1 or MTV or whatever could claim them. You know, you could call them alternative, you could call them adult contemporary, you could call it pop music. Like they were just kind of pretty much everywhere.
That's true.
And since they were so well received for the most part, the singles in particular, they got a lot of play. So that's where I heard it. But I never listened to the album until the last couple weeks.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I bought the album. That only happened because I had a crush on this girl.
Sure.
Because otherwise, I don't see buying this album. No.
So what is your favorite song on this album?
Good question. I'm going to say Happy Nation. Been going back and forth about this. Happy Nation has whatever the best lyric is, or whatever the best, like, I like that they chose this in Sweden as their main song, because it makes a lot of sense, and it gives you a different sense of what the album would be about if it was Happy Nation album. Like, it becomes more of like a dystopian trying to like rebel against something. Like, there's a little bit of a different feel than if it's just unrequited love, or if it's just love songs and dance songs, then it's a different album. But all the other songs, like Wheel of Fortune, it becomes this thing about like what we do and how much control we have when it comes to like fate and these kinds of like larger themes. I like the album better when it's a Happy Nation album, and I like it a lot less when it's Fate and The Sign. It just is a very different take on the whole album at that point. So yeah, it's Happy Nation for me.
I mean, that makes sense. It gives a lot more depth to it, I guess. I don't want to choose an underrated song or a worst song on this album since I didn't have any experience listening to it. But I'm glad that you chose this, because I did kind of want to highlight it, because I'm listening to this album in the last week or two, and I'm like, hearing the song, I'm like, how the fuck do I know this song? Like, this wasn't a single. How do I know this song? And it turns out that I had heard it recently in the X-Men 97 TV show. There's an episode number 5, which is like, the whole season's kind of built around this one big event in the middle of that episode, and this is the song that like introduces you to the episode.
Oh.
And the episode is like actually really politically charged, and it's got a lot of like references like to the Pulse nightclub shooting and 9/11 and like that kind of stuff. But it starts with this song, so it gave me like this weird respect for the song as well, because I kind of like felt it kind of mixed with where I'd first heard it. And as you say, like, it's saying Happy Nation over and over again, but there's something deeper at play with what's happening in the song, even though I don't really know what they're talking about. But I feel like there's something going on there.
I did have to look up the lyrics to some of these songs because the repetition will drive you nuts. Like, if you're not into dance music, and I'm not, I haven't listened to this album since high school. And apart from like hearing it in weird places, like, yeah, maybe an introduction to a movie or like a brewery. And even then, the brewery is like, it's always pretty jarring because it'll be like, I don't know, Cumbersome or something like that. And then it'll be like Ace of Base, and you're like, whoa, I love the 90s retro stuff, but like, these are very different tracks to play.
But they would have been played back to back on the radio at the time anyway, too, though.
Yeah. Yeah, the annoyance of having to listen to the same phrases over and over again and then really not knowing what they mean. Like, All That She Wants is one of those songs where like, all that she wants is another baby. And is she talking about like a dude? Like, does she want another boyfriend, or does she actually want like another baby?
This is the question.
Right. And well, the internet blew up at the same time. Like they were trying to figure out the same thing. Like this is a little bit of like, it's coming out during like a birth control conversation and a women's rights conversation and like all these things that we thought we kind of resolved those in the 90s. And here we are talking about this kicker from the Chiefs.
You're right.
It's a strange time to talk about this album because I don't want to knock it now because of this idiot guy.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. What idiot guy?
Oh, you don't know the kicker? You don't know this thing about the kicker from the Chiefs?
I don't follow football news.
I can't wait. No. It's been making headlines. So as soon as you get to hear this, I can't remember his name right now. He's the kicker from the Chiefs. He gave a graduation speech at a Catholic college. Mm-hmm. He had like an aside moment where he's like, I just want to talk to the women for a second. And he's like, it's great what you've accomplished at college, but my wife's best vocation is being at home with our kids.
And what's best for my wife is what's best for you, naturally.
Yeah. and as a graduation speech, like you're going to find your vocation in your family, and that's the best place to find a vocation. Oh, it's just so, but I mean, it was very politically charged because it was very anti-COVID and very like, but then there was this aside, and it was like he got in some jabs toward the LGBTQ community.
Oh, so he just went off, this dude.
Oh, it was.
Okay.
Oh, the thing that really drives me nuts is a Catholic school. So he's like, this is my calling from God. I never wanted the platform to speak. I thought I was just going to be a kicker, and I keep getting invited to give these speeches at a college graduation. Like, gosh, it's so bizarre. And then to say those things, like that's what's on your mind is just this like kind of hateful, anti-feminist rant. It's bizarre. When you listen to it, oh, horrible.
And did he reference All That She Wants?
No, he referenced Taylor Swift instead.
Oh, and not glowingly, I'm betting.
No, actually, so he took Oscar Wilde's quote out of context, which is, I think, Familiarity Breeds Contempt is one of her lyrics in one of her new songs.
Okay. Credited
Taylor Swift for that quote and never said Taylor's name, like said my teammate's girlfriend says. Okay. Like such a weird way to say it and out of context and all that stuff. That was very strange. Very, very strange.
That is strange. Going back to All That She Wants, that's not my favorite song on the album. I did pick a favorite song on this album, and I did go with a single because I had to go with one that, like, I had some nostalgia for. But All That She Wants is one that I heard so many fucking times, and I didn't care for this album. I didn't care for this music back in the day. I have nostalgia for it now, but I didn't care for it back then. But listening to Don't Turn Around now, I think I like Don't Turn Around.
Yeah.
It's a decent song.
Don't Turn Around is fine. I hear it and I'm like, okay, I don't turn that one off. I don't know that I ever turned any of them off because Young and Proud comes on right before The Sign. And I don't really like that song in comparison, but it was fine. Like it was, I listened to the whole thing because I don't think there were many times I listened to the whole album. Whatever food I got into, it must have been good driving music because I think I remember that I would just play it when I was driving. And I was one of these idiots that wanted to put in good speakers into my car so I could like blast bass music.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually one of the reasons I ended up buying the album was that I wanted to like play something with bass that actually had musical quality to it, but it doesn't. It's not that kind of bass music. It's actually really terrible. And that he calls himself Mr. Bass really drives
And, you know, I was driving around to my brother's neighborhood for a get-together the other day, and I'm like, it's a hot day. I got the sun down. I got the music cranked up because I'm on the freeway, you know. And I pulled off the freeway, and I'm driving down, like, this neighborhood road. I'm just thumping Don't Turn Around, like, really, really loud. And I almost turned down, and I'm, like, driving by people walking by. I'm like, no, you guys, you remember this song. Fucking listen to what I'm playing. I'm pretending like it's cool. And also, don't turn around and maybe think of another thing. I realized, like, when I was listening to this album in my kitchen, I went and I made the note to myself, dancing ironically is still dancing.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. If it makes you move, it makes you move. And god damn it, yeah, I definitely danced. I think I'm making fun of the album, kind of goofily dancing around my kitchen, but in reality, it's making me move. It has that power over me.
Yeah.
I can't deny that. Not an album I'm going to spend a lot of time with after this.
Oh.
There's albums that I've done on the show that are like really important to me. And then there's albums that I'm like, okay, this is really important to 1993 and 1994.
Yeah. And
that's this album, for sure.
Yeah. I don't know that I ever liked it. I don't know where I'd put this, except that there wasn't a lot of female lead singers that I was listening to. Cranberries, one of them, but there wasn't a lot. And then outside of alternative music, because I was listening mostly to alternative music, this was the one thing that kind of got me out of alternative. Like, if I was going to listen to anything else, it was like Ace of Base invited me to know other bands where, like, I would turn on VH1 rather than MTV, because mostly MTV Unplugged was where I was kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
And then VH1, it was really like, there were a couple bands, and they're all embarrassing now. Hootie and the Blowfish? Like, why? No. I don't listen to Hootie and the Blowfish. But I don't listen to Ace of Base. Yeah. Well, and I hate this feels like a church music, like somebody could have written this for church and it would have gone over better. Like, it's really just the same lines repeated over and over again. Which is why I like the Happy Nation part of this so much. Like, it's that turn off your brain. And that's why I liked it. I was turning off my brain to like mow the lawn, and I could still hear enough of the music if I had my headphones in listening to bass. And so cleaning the house, mowing the lawn, all the things that you do that are kind of brainless activities where the lines are just repeated and the sound sounds okay. Ace of Base was that music for me. It was like, turn your brain off and do something stupid for a bit.
Well, so given that we're talking about it's maybe not either one of our favorite albums, what song would you say is the least good song on this album?
That's a good question. I don't even remember the name of it right now. My Mind might be the name of that one.
Yeah, it's pretty, the second to last song.
Yeah.
It's a bass in your mind.
I'm not counting Mr. Ace because that song wasn't on the original release.
Yeah, that's true. And I was trying to figure out if Mr. Ace was a hidden track. I couldn't remember if it was hidden in All That She Wants.
I checked. It was when they remastered it like 10 years later or something like that. They edited it then. So It wasn't really, you wouldn't have heard this back in the day. So not counting that one, you're saying My Mind, the mindless mix.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. That song and the song before it, Voulez-Vous Dancer, like it kind of seemed like things start to kind of, like, it's like, okay, I've had my time with this album now. Like, you're kind of like beating a dead horse a little bit.
Voulez-Vous Dancer, it's not terrible for me. I like that it's in French. I like that I got to know like 6 words in French because of that. No, yeah, the album changes at that point. Wheel of Fortune is my biggest letdown song. And I know we don't have a category for that, but like, Wheel of Fortune would probably be my least favorite song if it wasn't dealing with, I think I remember reading Hamlet and talking about fate right at the same time I heard Wheel of Fortune for the first time. And so having this like Shakespearean understanding of the Greek mythology of the Wheel of Fortune was like, oh, people sing about this still. Like, that's kind of cool. And then it's garbage.
Yeah. And she's singing like about her father or something to do with her father in there too. Okay.
But it's my biggest letdown.
It let me down because like you have a song called Wheel of Fortune and you don't make any reference to Pat Sajak. It's just right there.
Yep.
Come on. All right. Well, maybe they're not fans since they're Swedish. They didn't really think like, they wouldn't even think of that. What the fuck am I talking about? All right. Family band, by the way, right? Like 3 of them are siblings and then one other dude.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. I didn't know that until doing a little research before the show.
And the dude they bring in has to make this huge apology for one of the groups he became a part of because it was like a neo-Nazi kind of thing. Like hate group.
Yeesh.
And so he goes on to, I can't remember his last name.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah. And so you can't, it's one of those things where like, oh, can you even say that you listen to Ace of Base or like Ace of Base? Like it was one of those moments for a good while. I think it kills the band because then they come out with Beautiful Life and then the band goes away. This is a band that comes up and makes a 4-part or 5-part My Story. Like they don't deserve a My Story. They have this like 5-part. It's probably altogether an hour of telling how they became a band and what that meant for them and all that stuff. But yeah, 3 of them are siblings, and then they bring on this guy that ends up killing the band because of his affiliation to this hate group.
And he's obviously the one that they could have kicked out the most, right? I mean, it seems like the siblings would be the ones to keep going. I know that the main singer still tours today, like playing Ace of Base songs, and that they're not officially broken up.
Yeah.
They could kind of, reconvene. But yeah, I didn't hear all that about Ulf. I imagine they're a lot bigger in Europe and Scandinavia, generally speaking.
And this is the thing. I would be very careful to like berate somebody too much for the choices they made when they were like 20 and celebrate them too much, because once you have that connection, you can't like over celebrate somebody. So I don't really know where to put all that. It's good enough to know about it. It's good enough to like, when you're talking about Ace of Base, you should probably bring it up because you don't want to be blind to that stuff. Mm-hmm. But it did change the flavor of a whole bunch of things for me, including Happy Nation. If there's any person that's helping write the music that's doing this under this, like, there's a line in there about the brotherhood or something like that. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that stings a little bit because I don't know if you're writing this out of like some innocent youth thing or if this is like a very dark like take on your affiliation to this whatever group.
Man, you are contextualizing this album in ways I didn't expect. There's some undertones here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's good. I want to know. It's good to know. And it's not like I have like a deep connection to the album or anything like that.
This is why I wanted to just know what I'm talking about. Like I just did a little bit of like research and I started watching that stupid 5-part. I only got through maybe 2 of the parts. I was like, this is not a band that deserves a 5-part story. But it even changed how I felt about the name Ace of Base. Like, he calls himself Mr. Ace. It's Ace of Base, which is like, I don't know what that means, but it's so irritating.
I looked it up. on Wikipedia, and they had a quote from him and how he named the band. He said he was sitting on his couch watching MTV, and the video for Motorhead's Ace of Spades came on. He thought, that's cool. Ace of something. Well, our studio's like our base, so we'll be Ace of Base. Like that's like the most like meaningless name, but a lot of times band names are pretty fucking meaningless when you get down to it.
It should be like a tattoo. It's going to be the thing you have to live with for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe you could get it erased, but like this is your identity. Like you're putting some stock in your identity. This should have been like a parent sitting you down to be like, if anybody hears this song, what are you doing? What are you putting out there? Who are you?
We cannot judge them because this album is one of the best-selling albums of all time.
It's true. Yeah. Who am I? I have nobody.
They knew what they were doing. Whatever we think of their name,
yeah,
they're rolling in money for the rest of their life. So
that's right. Yeah, I am the ace of nothing. Literally, that's
you're the ace of many books.
Yeah, I got many books.
Do you have anything else you want to say about Ace of Base or the sign before we move on to other things? Or actually, not even other things. I'm going to keep with Ace of Base, but
no, we can move on to the next thing. What do you got?
Well, as we were just saying, this album was really well celebrated at the time, not discussed much. I don't know why I've never really looked into this before on this show, like more specifically, but I thought we'd kind of investigate the Grammys of 1994. Well, technically they were in 1995.
Yeah.
Because they were nominated for multiple stuff. So I thought, yeah, let's take a look at some of this stuff that's nominated along with them that they lost to, and just whatever thoughts you have about the other bands and stuff.
Yeah.
Sound good?
It sounds great.
Okay.
I did the same thing, by the way. I was looking up, I was like, why do I know this band? And like, what awards did they win? And I couldn't figure out what awards they had won because they were just selling a lot of albums. So I really liked the way this question was going because I had exactly the same thought.
Oh, cool. I'll try framing some of these as questions for you, like quiz questions, but you might know the answers, especially if you're looking at them.
I don't know them.
Okay. So they were nominated, Ace of Base was nominated for Best New Artist for 1994. They lost. I will give you the other contenders. Crash Test Dummies, Green Day, Sheryl Crow, and Counting Crows.
Okay.
Which one of those do you think won?
Man, there's some good names on that list.
There's a couple good names, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do a process of elimination. Crash Test Dummies was like one of my favorites to listen to, but I don't think they would have won anything.
I really want to do or God Shuffled His Feet. I want to do that album at some point.
Yeah.
You're right, they did not win.
It could have been Sheryl Crow, but remind me the list one more time.
Sheryl Crow, Green Day, Counting Crows, Crash Test Dummies.
Oh, I almost want to say for sure I know that it was Green Day. I'm going to say Green Day.
It was Sheryl Crow.
Was it Sheryl Crow? Okay.
It was Sheryl Crow. She won Best New Artist. Who would you pick out of that list?
Green Day.
Green Day?
Yeah.
I pick Counting Crows personally, but Green Day would be my second.
Counting Crows is my favorite of those.
That's why I picked them.
I love August and Everything After. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's mine too.
Yeah. Green Day, for the risk they were taking, for breaking into punk again, and
yeah,
Green Day was just, I love the genius behind Green Day, and I love August and Everything After, but there wasn't that same level of genius.
Well, I think that's
Green
arguable.
Day has a brilliant, it's lyric writing, it's doing things with the guitar that, I don't know, it might be Green Day for me.
I get what you're saying. I definitely much prefer Counting Crows personally as a band.
Yeah.
But looking back retrospectively in terms of who had the biggest impact on music and, changing things after they released, Green Day, no question.
Yeah.
No question. Let's move to the next category here. The second thing that they were nominated for was Best Pop Performance, so that's like a song, by a duo of group with vocal, which is a weird way of phrasing that, but okay. So the other singles besides The Sign, the song The Sign was nominated for Best Duo Performance, along with by Crash Test Dummies, I'll Stand By You by The Pretenders, I Swear by All For One, and Stay, parentheses, I Missed You, by Lisa Loeb and 9 Stories.
Interesting.
Yeah, so again, real quick, that is by Crash Test Dummies, I'll Stand By You by Pretenders, Stay, I Missed You by Lisa Loeb, and I Swear by All For One.
I can't say All For One because I tried to sing that when my voice was changing, and I flew into the song, and it's on like some recording somewhere. So I can't listen to that song without thinking about that. It's way too embarrassing. So I'm definitely not going to say them. I don't think it's possible it could have been them. Lisa Loeb makes the most sense. I'll Stand By You by The Pretenders.
It's a good song.
It is a good song. It annoys me now. What category is this for? Best pop song?
Best performance, basically. Yeah, best pop single is basically what it is.
Yeah, let's have a female theme. I'm going to go for Lisa Loeb.
That's a good guess. I feel like that was a bigger single, at least in our circles maybe, but I Swear by All For One.
Yeah, it had to be the one I wasn't going to say, of course.
That would be what I would choose myself. I'm not a big R&B guy by any stretch of the imagination, but
there's a reason I wanted to be able to sing it. There's like a reason I murdered that song.
It's a good song.
Yeah, it was great.
I've done that drunken karaoke many times with big
I'll never
groups
listen to it again, but it was a great song.
If any of those karaoke sessions had been recorded, I would never listen to it again either.
Yeah, no, it's awful. No, I can't. I can't even say the name of the song without bluffing and like, man.
Funny. All right, last one. All right, so Best Pop Album. So they were also nominated for Best Pop Album, which is nothing to sneeze at. Along with Seal, his self-titled album Seal, but not the first self-titled album Seal, the second self-titled album Seal.
Okay.
Because he did it twice, because he's Seal. Along with, this one kind of throws me, The Three Tenors in Concert from 1994. That's a pop album, I guess.
Yeah, that's weird.
Right?
Okay.
And then Bonnie Raitt, Longing in Their Hearts, which I don't remember that album at all, but I do kind of remember her I remember her having singles around that time, so it must have been from that album. And then Lyle Lovett's I Love Everybody, which I never really would have thought of Bonnie Raitt or Lyle Lovett as pop, or the Three Tenors for that matter.
No, this is a very strange pop year because it's like country music and Three Tenors.
Right? And then reggae techno, Recno.
Who's the first one you said again?
So Seal.
It's Seal. It's got to be Seal.
That would have been my choice. I mean, it seems like that would have been the most, either that or The Sign itself, right? Like,
Sign, yeah.
Right? But it was Longing in Their Hearts by Bonnie Raitt.
Yeah. 90s country music, man. I mean, it was the thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of forgot about them. Like, I was listening to Shania Twain, but I keep forgetting about, like, Reba. Reba was huge.
She was, especially around this time, but like I wasn't paying attention. That was like
me either.
My mom's music or whatever, you know.
It was Tom Schmidt's music. And I was hanging out with Tom a lot in high school. The only reason I was listening to country music was because he was
listening to Bonnie Raitt as a high school boy.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Not great.
Mike, I'm very happy you came back on the show. I hope you do it again. And if you ever need guests for your coming show, let me know. I'll be very happy to return the favor.
I appreciate that. I will. And I'm going to be back. I'm going to talk about a real album at some point here so that you don't have just these like failing episodes where like Candlebox. What
Dude,
the?
Candlebox is one of my best performing episodes I've done.
Really?
I shit you not. In terms of listens compared to how long it's been out, it's one of my best performing episodes.
Wow. That's wild to me. All right. That's interesting.
I assume you have an army of loyal former students.
I don't think I told anybody about I put it on Facebook, but nobody, I don't let my kids follow me on Facebook. So.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I'm glad.
Yeah, me too. So when you come back a third time, you can kind of get outside of 93, 94 specifically. If you want to get into like early 90s or like 95, that'd be fine. Maybe we can find something that you actually love and listen to.
No, Candlebox I did actually love and listen.
Well, you listened to it back then, right? But you didn't really stick with it.
What do I still listen to? That's a good question. Yeah, I'll look forward to giving you a new album. I might stick with 93 and 94 just because I have so much fun talking about that time period. But
hey, you're very welcome to.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to talk about like Lucy. I don't want to talk about Candlebox's second album. We can talk about Beautiful Life and do Ace of Base again. No, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good talking with you.
Thank you. You too. See ya.
Later, buddy. A huge thank you to Mike for coming back on the show. It is mighty appreciated. He's a good dude. He's a funny dude. He's a smart dude. I look forward to his podcast when it drops. And I look forward to having him back on the show. This is the part of the show where I typically will ask people to come on the show and do an album. I'm actually going to say I'm retiring an album. I'm not going to do it on the show. I don't think. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe she'd want me to do it. I want to talk about the album Let's Go from 1994 by the band Rancid.
We're all the rich people, high low, down on my local, for the summer show, with the shelter is out inside. Every day, down to the right heart, we bring up the offerings. Microwave, or refrigerators, full of suffering. Come on, baby, will you show me what you got, yeah? I want your salvation, whoa. Come on, baby, will you show me what you got, yeah? I want your salvation, whoa. I can't believe these people live like kings. In a fated diamond ring, I'm a red, I'm a mission, I'm in your fire, what a suspicion. Come on, baby, will you show me what you got here? I want your salvation.
This song, Salvation, was one of their bigger hits. I wonder what my friend Gwen would make of my tribute to her being on the Ace of Base episode. She had great taste in music, and I don't know how she felt about Ace of Base, to be honest, but I know how she felt about Rancid. She had talked with me about doing this album on the show at one point a little while ago, and it just didn't end up happening. She and I, since I moved back to Michigan from Philly, talked about grabbing lunch, something like that, catching up in person instead of just online multiple times. And you always think that moment's going to come, you know. It just seems like you're not doing yourself such a great harm when you push plans back and say let's do it tomorrow. Gwen passed away this late August of 2024. She was a fighter. She stuck it out, but she was taken too soon, and she liked Rancid. She was a funny, creative, gregarious, unassuming, encouraging, loyal, kind friend. And I'm going to miss her. So this one's for you, Gwen. Little Rancid to send us out.